After my 1.5 day visit in Los Angeles, I'm thinking of moving in there. You should work on it, Yuda. See, this kid is 89.5 years old. You know, it's incredible. The younger kid, Judah Pearl, 87. You know, I want to learn the secret. You know, I'm not far behind, but they're amazing. You know, nobody will believe when they see them that they are that young. So, as Len said, I will not be talking about math and or theoretical computers. So relax, don't leave yet. Okay. So I will talk. The talk has two halves. One, the bigger half, about our program. The summary describes the revolutionary program. Okay. And the second half is my vision or wish or wishful thinking about higher education in the future. Because there are certain flaws in higher education. And there is at least somebody that wrote a book. And at the end, I recommend that you read this book, and I'll show you the book, that higher education has to change. Because it has certain inherent flaws. Okay? And one of the solutions is online. So, I don't want to disappoint you. This is the 106th time I give this lecture in the last 10 years, but it's kind of keep changing. And the last change I made 3 days ago, because on Friday I got the biggest compliment in my life. And, you know, I usually have to pay for compliments. Somebody wrote an article in Forbes, which I'll show you in a second. This is the title, The Greatest Degree Program Ever. So that was the greatest compliment ever. It's talking about us, and I know it's very hard to read it, so I made it easier for you, okay? Enrollment in degree-seeking programs across U.S. higher education have been on the decline since 2011, with roughly 4 million fewer students today. The most recent data from the National Student Clearinghouse showed master's degree growth at a meager 0.2% over last year. In stark contrast to these national trends is Georgia Tech's online master's in computer science. Launched just 10 years ago, it now boasts more than 10,000 graduates and currently enrolls more than 12,000 students. And that's the big question, a big sentence. It is, by nearly any measure, the most successful degree program in history. I cannot ask more for that. So what I'll tell you two halves of the program. First is the program, how it started and where it is now. And the second half is my vision, my hope, maybe wishful thinking for higher education, how to improve it, how to make it more accessible. So this is OMS CS, online MS in CS. A collaboration between Georgia Tech, GT is Georgia Tech, Udacity, it's a company, and AT&T. We'll see exactly who does what. It was announced in May 2013, so it's 10 years old, it's not a baby. It's 10 years old. It was launched in January 2014. It will be actually 10 years old in January, and we'll celebrate it in May. It was launched, and then with 380 students and 5 courses. We could have started with 750 students, but we decided to limit the number of students to make sure that all the systems work correctly. So just for safety reasons, we just defer them to the summer. So here's where we are now. This is, by the way, the graduate class from 2017. It's not all the class. It's only those that came to Atlanta for graduation. And it's the last time they fit into one picture. As I say, 10,000 total graduates. In a moment, we will see how important it is. Who, among the students, who are you that are studying computer science? Please raise your hand. So just to keep your morale high, and it might be the only thing you remember from my talk, is computer science is the hottest field, period. The hottest. it is hotter than all of engineering combined. I'll give you numbers later, so I hope you hang on, okay? It's really hottest. You will see exactly why. In 2022, over 2,000 graduates. So now we're graduating more than 2,000 a year, okay? This data is old, a few years old. Over 50 went to do a PhD. As we will see next, they wouldn't have gone even for a master unless we had this program. So now over 50 went to a PhD, 3 or 4 already graduated. Enrollment this semester, 750, okay? That's about the relative size. In a second, I'll tell you. 61 courses, 43 just for this program. We came up with 2 more programs. They have 18, and the student in our program can take those courses. So 61 different courses available. Uh-oh. So now, how did it start? That's the question everybody asks me. How did it start? Okay? Because, you know, universities, I had the claim, are the second most conservative institution in the world, after the Catholic Church. Maybe they have overtaken the Catholic Church. I'm not sure. Faculty are very conservative, not politically. You know, they can vote anything. But about their job, they're against any change. They have it comfortable. And even if the change looks promising and it will give them something, they don't trust. They think, and sometimes they're right, there is something behind it. So they're usually against change. So how did you do it? This was a major change. So here's how the story started, but that's before, that's BC, that's before it started. Late in 2011, there was the first MOOC. You know what's MOOC? MOOC is massive open online course. Here came the MOOCs. In late 2011, Peter Monovig and Sebastian Tram, they were both in Stanford and in Google, gave it to 160,000 students. Massive, 160,000 students. 20,000 of them graduated, which for MOOC was very, very good. Later it turned out only single digit graduate from MOOCs. I'll get to it later. In early 2012, 3 companies were created. Coursera by Daphna Kohler and Andrew Ang, Udacity by Sebastian Tran, and a few months later, edX by Anant Agarwal at MIT, Harvard. Coursera and Udacity, Stanford people. New York Times, George Friedman, he called 2012 the year of the MOOC, okay? Because that's when the MOOC arrived, and that's where it all started. Sebastian Tran visited me in September of 2012. And Sebastian told me, Zvi, let's do a degree. MOOCs were MOOCs. MOOCs was one course. MOOCs was nothing. They were free, okay? He said, let's do a full degree using the MOOC technology, okay? And I immediately liked the idea. Except I was only the dean. And you students may not know, but universities are in some sense a business, in some sense it's not a business. The dean or the president cannot tell the faculty to do something. They cannot tell them to jump. They will laugh him out of the room or her out of the room. Maybe some non-tenure faculty will jump. Some of them will fake a jump. But you cannot give orders in university. You cannot, president or dean cannot have an initiative. Oh, tomorrow we are doing X. Hey, good idea. Then it will be buried in some faculty committee, okay, if they don't want to do it. So how shall I do it? So I'll tell you in a moment that there was a process. I devised a process, okay? And then even before it started, even before we decided to do it, Sebastian and I went to AT&T, somebody big arranged us to see the CEO of AT&T, his name was, he's not CEO anymore, Randall Stevenson. We went in a date that 3 dates of 4 that I remember, when I was born, when I was married, and when our son was born. And that's the fourth one. January 11 of 2013, Friday, we went to see the CEO of AT&T, and we asked him for money. And 3 days later, on Monday, he gave us $2 million. That was crucial. Georgia Tech, you heard about Harvard. Harvard at that time had 30 billion, now double. Endowment. All Ivy Leagues. They had billions of dollars in endowment. Georgia Tech had $1 billion. Now it has, all of them doubled the endowment since then. So Harvard now has 50 or 60 billion dollars. Georgia Tech is close to $2 billion. And all the revenue from the endowment is spent. They didn't have money to give us anyway, and that was the money. That was crucial, more than we even thought. So the idea is to build a college consensus. So academic leader is good, even if he has idea, is to make the faculty believe it is their idea. That's the trick. It has to come from the faculty. So I appointed the faculty working group in September of 2012. And I didn't appear with them, and my senior associate dean, Charles Isbell, who is now the provost of the University of Wisconsin at Madison, he's provost. He was my deputy, senior associate dean. We didn't participate, only when they invited us to answer questions. And they defined all the parameters, everything, how it will be done, who will get what, and we will see in a second. And they worked on it more than 6 months. 6 months they worked on it. And after 6 months, they brought it to the faculty. The faculty voted. 75% supported starting the program. Nowadays, except for one, nobody admits they voted against. We don't find them. One of them admitted, but then he said, but he changed his mind. Now he's for it. Three main concerns. Quality. The idea was this program, it will be online, it will be the same quality. That's very important. Same project, same exam, same everything. There is a minor difference, I'll get to it later. Okay. So no discounts. Back to Sebastian, he came to me and said, let's do a program. And he said to me, let's do a program for $1,000. That will be the tuition, $1,000 for the whole program. His idea was influenced by the fact that MOOCs was free. Everything was free. He understood that there are expenses, okay? So he said, let's do it for $1,000. And I am pretty good with numbers, especially with the dollar side, and have very good intuition for budgets. And I told him, Sebastian, 1,000 will not do, 4,000 will. And actually, I was right. Turns out, if it was $4,000, we will break even. So then I went to our leadership, the provost and the president. They let us do it. That was when Sebastian, we started the process only after the president and the provost said, it's okay. If you decide to do it, we'll let you do it. So that's in their credit. Why did they decide? Because usually president and provost, as you probably saw, here it's called chancellors, are chickens, spineless chickens. And ours were not that different. But they didn't understand what it was, Hey, let him try it. In their defense, I didn't understand either. I didn't know what it will become. So 2 things. They let us do it. And they also said, you know what, let's play it safe. Not $4,000, 7. Okay, $7,000. And we did it for $7,000. As a result, the program will have revenues. For $4,000, we will break even. So the question, how large multiplier we will have for the 3,000 difference, and it's a big one. So 2 things. They let us do it. They push for higher cost, which was still very, very low, as you will see in a second. And they introduce it to the regions. I understand the regions are meeting I'm meeting this week here in UCLA, and as a result, in the hotel, they blocked all the exits, and they almost shot me, when I tried to get in. They're armed. So your regions are very well protected. And in our regions, they actually convinced the regions to support it because they needed the approval of the regions, and the regions, like the president and the provost, didn't understand anything and approved it. It was announced in May 2013, and we started with 380 students and 5 courses. We could have started with 750 students, as I said, but we decided to start with a minimum number of students to make sure all systems are working. So this is our motto. Our motto is accessibility through affordability and technology. The idea is access, to have as large access as possible. And one of the properties of higher education in the US, it's not accessible. Okay, we'll get to it. So, and you see some stuff in green. Stuff in green is unique to our program. And actually, that's the second unique, but that's the one that caused an earthquake. The cost of the program, as I said, it wasn't 4,000, it was 6,800. It has an asterisk here. Why the asterisk? Because people pay by the course. Many master programs, they pay by the course, not per year like in college. And so, and every semester they pay fees. So it depends how many semesters they need. The average is 1.3 courses per term. So, or 7 terms to finish in 7, 8, or 8 terms. So if you finish in 7 or 8 terms, the cost was 6,800. If you finish in 10 terms, because it's 10 courses, it will be 8,400. Still very cheap. In addition, the asterisk is during the pandemic, University of Georgia, which is like University of California, it's the 26 universities in the University of Georgia system, decided to cancel one of the fees. So the 6,800 went down. So that's the only thing that I know of that went down in the last 5 years. It went down to 6,100. So for $6,000, you get a master's degree. It's crazy. That caused an earthquake. That was on the front page of the New York Times. Yes. Please answer. Feel free to ask me all the time. Raise your hand and shoot. Semester. We work in semesters. There are 3 semesters: fall, spring, and summer. Students in the first semester can take at most 2 courses. In later semesters, they can take at most 3 courses. And in the summer, at most 2. Because in the summer, it's a little shorter, so at most 2 courses. There is a funny story. There was a woman from AT&T, and she wanted to take 4 courses and finish quick. And he told her, you can't, you can take at most 2 in the first and at most 3. She knew that AT&T funding us, and she went to the CEO of AT&T. And he was smart. He said, no, you have to go back to them. So she went back to us. Says, no, you cannot do it. So unfortunately, she had to take 2. Guess what happened after 7 weeks? She dropped 1. Our courses are tough. The projects are real. Georgia Tech is one of the best master program, one of the best undergraduate program. I claim the best, but I'm prejudiced. I'm always number 1. So, but they have excellent master and excellent, and we made sure that also the online is as good. Now, typical state universities, 40,000. That's for out of state. In state is $25K, still much more than $6,000. At Columbia, a private university is $70,000. That's for computer science. If it's a business school, it's over 100. So that caused an earthquake, this unbelievable low tuition. And that's another green. It was that's actually the first thing that was unique to the program. First accredited MOOC-based degree in computer science. It's MOOC-based. So online existed before. Distance learning existed before. Online existed before. But this was MOOC in addition to the... So, they will never invite me to USC. You know why? Because they charge for online more than on campus, not less. So they charge the normal tuition, but then for online, they add more money. So I'll never be invited to USC. And so it's MOOC-based. Our technology is of MOOCs. But it's not MOOCs. M is massive. Our courses are not massive. Some courses are over 1,000 students. That's not massive, it's big. Open is not open, you pay tuition. Online, yes. Course, yes. But it's MOOC-based. Why? MOOCs are... Anybody here took a MOOC? Raise your hand if anybody took a MOOC. Some of you did, very few. MOOCs are special online courses that they are broken. First of all, professionals do them. Professionals. So there's video experts, they are professionals do them. And second, MOOCs is the class, every class is broken to segments of 10, 15 minutes with queries in between to test if you understood the concept. If the student, before they progress, they have to answer certain questions to make sure that they understood the concept. So pedagogically, it's much better than you just tape a course. That was done during the pandemic, and many of these courses were terrible. So it's MOOC-based because it used the MOOC technology, and we used the Udacity of Sebastian Tran to be the platform. So the platform of the MOOCs. But our courses were not MOOCs. So why did we do it? Georgia Tech motto is progress and service. We believe it's progress, we believe it's service. We have a history of innovation. So for example, in the undergraduate education, we have threads. I'm not sure you heard about it. So there are 8 threads, and the student has to choose 2 out of 8. So basically, 8 choose 2. How much is 8 choose 2? It's 28. There are 28 degrees. And we have actually a college of computing. We don't have a department of computer science. And I believe you should too. You should too, because more and more a computer science department turned into college. The first was Carnegie Mellon in '86. The second one was Georgia Tech in 1990. But now, even MIT, there are quite a number of them have colleges or schools. And so we have so the threads, so College of Computing, so like engineering, we don't have 1 degree. We have 28 degrees because it's not the same program. MS and CS, natural place to start. MS, we don't want to start with a college, it's kind of holy. We don't want to start with PhD. Usually we need a PhD on campus. The advisors want the PhD with them. But master, that's the place to start. Computer science is where the technology is from. So that was a natural place. And it was like the real time. The technology was maturing. And we already did dozens of MOOCs with Coursera. So faculty like to do the MOOCs. They liked it so much that if I wanted, I can make them work for free. Because when they did the MOOCs, they were not paid. But I don't believe in free work. Volunteerism, so sometimes faculty is volunteer. So they might volunteer a semester, they might volunteer 2 semesters, but after that, forget it. Unless they are paid. And I strongly believe in everywhere, in incentives. And we'll see the incentives in a second. This is the biggest reason. Many students wanted degrees. They didn't want MOOCs, okay? MOOCs, the course. And some of them even give certificate. So what does it mean if you have a certificate that you took, even not passed because there is no final, a course in software engineering? What can you do with it? Hang it in the bathroom? Who will be impressed by such a certificate? But here it's degree that we pledge to be the same difficulty, the same quality of the on-campus program. larger pool of prospective students. We anticipated there will be larger potential students. We didn't realize how big it can be. It's huge. We did not anticipate it. It also redefined learning experience. Usually faculty poo-pooed online. They say, no, it's low quality. It must be low quality. We proved that they're wrong. And in some sense, on campus is advantageous. You know, if you have a small class of 25 students, you may find a classroom where they can sit around the table and discuss it, and everybody participates, and of course it's much better. But show me a class in computer science with 25 students. At least in Georgia Tech, the smallest classes are 250, with two or three sections. And they sit in large classrooms like this, and the first 2 rows they're listening, from row 3 to the back, they play video games. So, and we, in some sense, the learning online, and as I'll show you in a minute, had advantages. You know, unbelievably, even online was advantageous to on-campus courses. Shortage of computer professionals. In 2017, there were 500,000 jobs in software engineering and the like, unfilled. And they predicted it will double in the next 5 years. Now, because of the pandemic, is less than doubled. You might be misled by the fact that you had some company laid off people in computing, right? It's not because they needed less. They used the opportunity to clean up, to let the weaker people go and hire other ones, okay? So I'm not sure it's 1 million now, but it's close to 1 million. Many unfilled jobs in computer science. If you are a computer scientist, that's the best decision you have made in your life. There is also shortage of teachers because people with a degree in computer science usually don't go to teach because the pay is much better. But then if we increase significantly the number of graduates, some of them, as we will see, would go to teaching. And these are the incentives, you know. How did we construct the incentive? Making the course $30,000. And that's not much. They work on it full-time. Full-time for a semester almost. Many days. With professionals. Doing and redoing segments. The 30,000 is reasonable. What is generous is whenever you teach the course, every semester you teach the course, the instructor of record gets $10,000. And there, as a teacher, the course is recorded. You don't do much. You sometimes participate in office hours or do something, but usually you give it to the TAs. So it's up to you how much you work. 10,000 is very nice. The instructor, usually the instructor that created the course have to give the course at least once. Later, somebody else can give it. But they all, because of the incentives, kept, except 1 or 2 or 3, and in a couple of cases, 2 or 3 that left Georgia Tech, they keep giving it. They like the compensation. So they get 10,000, plus, in addition, everyone that created the course and their course is being used, they get something like royalty 2,500. So you remember, there were 3 semesters. In each semester, you can teach one of your courses. That's 30K, and 3 times 2.5, you can get 37.5K. And if it's only in the fall and the spring, it's 25K. It's pretty good. So overall applications approaching 60,000, and that's another unique feature. Acceptance rate, 75%. Are you crazy? You know, all these rankings depend on selectivity. How much you are bad. The more you reject, they rank you higher. And it's kind of ridiculous, especially in college. You know what is the selectivity of Harvard and Stanford? Do you know? What percentage they accept? Throw me a number. Throw me a number. 7, no, 4. Used to be 7, now it's 4.5%. About 30 or 40% are as good. Very hard to distinguish. So then use all these other criteria like alumni or the ability to give gifts, all these other funny criteria, okay? But 30 or 40% of those that are rejected are as good. Simply there is no room for them. We turn it on its head. We accept everybody that can do it. We have no cap. I'll talk about an admission requirement in a second. They're a little bit different. 120 countries, all states, many of them work in IT. 2/3 are domestic. On the other hand, on campus, it's the other way around. 2/3 are international. Can somebody guess why? Yes? What? Visa. They want to get into the States. It's mostly Indian and Chinese. So that's why most of them, the on-campus are international. We'll see numbers, okay? This already shows we are expanding the market, not cannibalizing, because one example, 2/3 are domestic here and 2/3 are international here. So different populations. So we're not cannibalizing the on-campus program. And you will see it grew a lot. Enrollment also, 36,000 enrolled, right now enrolled, that's the number of students in the program. Average age 30. Average age in master on campus is 22. When they finish college, they go directly to master. So there's 80-year difference. That's another proof, different populations. 2/3 about US citizens and permanent residents, all states and territories, 120 countries. In spring 2023, 19% already had a master in another area. Some of them want to switch to computer science because it's so hot, the jobs are there. Some of them need computer science in the work. 6% already have a PhD, not in computer science, PhDs. They need computer science, they need machine learning, data science, they need it for the work. Okay, so amazing numbers are in minorities. On campus, 3%. OMSCS, 11.6, almost 4 times more. So you have a young, bright minority student who finished his BA or BS, and he wants to continue the master, but it's expensive. Financial aid for master is much lower. So he goes to work, but now he can do it both. He can do it while working. So there is a huge increase in minorities, and I'm very proud of it. International, as always the case, that's on campus. India number 1, China number 2, and a very fast third is Taiwan. OMSCS, China number 1, India number 2, 3 and 4 are much, much less, not more than 2%. So why did I include them? I included Singapore because Singapore is a very small country. It's a city state. It has 5.4 million people. So per capita, they are number 1, 30 per million. They are more than, US is only 24 per million. And as I told you, I jumped back to the introduction because I forgot to tell you, so sometimes nobody reminded me, you guys. So I gave the talk 105 times in 17 countries. Okay? The first one was to the board of Stanford. The second one was the faculty of Stanford. The third one was the PICAS. PICAS is Presidential Council of Advisors in Science and Technology. It was Obama's PICAS. So these were the first talks. In Singapore, I gave talk number 100, and they're in one city, so they have a very social interaction. So people ask me, hey, do they interact? So if you're in the middle of nowhere, you can do it only via Zoom or via virtual connection, but they actually have, they invited me to their activity. So here is with 70 students and alums from Singapore. I gave lecture number 100, I think was in May. Retention. So I promised you, I'll tell you what are the admissions. There is one difference in admission. First of all, everybody has to do TOEFL. Everybody has to know English. We don't require GRE. We have an alternative requirement. Okay, GRE means that you are good in computer science. And we wanted people from other area, from engineering. Even from other area, it will be more difficult. So there, we do two things. First, we require you to be able to program. You know, in Python, some really good in programming, because you have no future. You cannot do it without programming. And second, you're only tentatively admitted. What does it mean? You're admitted, and in the first year, in 2 of the courses, you have to get at least B or more. Yes? No, they had a course, a recognized course when they studied. They had a grade in a course in programming. Yes. Some can cheat, never mind. If they cannot program, they cannot survive. Not strong, but they can program. And then some of them don't survive, but as you will see, so 2 courses is a lot because the average is 1.3. So they take 2 or 3 courses during the first year, and 2 of them has to be B or more. Okay, that's the requirement. So if you take everybody that, including the tentative admitted, there is a 68% yield retention. Okay, 68% of them finish. If you take those that were tentatively admitted, but if you take only those that were admitted after they got to B's and A or A's, it's 85%. The normal retention for master programs is like 90%. So it's in the ballpark. Unlike MOOCs. In MOOCs, the survival rate is single digits, 7%. Why? A, there is no degree. And B, they don't pay. If you don't pay, you're less serious. And if you are a little adult, 20s or 30s, you have a family, you have a job, and then you hit the first roadblock, difficulty, you drop. But if you pay a little bit, you don't drop. You give it another try. If it's for a degree, you give it another try. 85% finish. And as I described in the article I told you in the beginning, Todd, the chair, will send to everybody the article, or you can Google my name with Forbes. It was in Forbes, my name, to read the article. They described our program as a rocket. There's a picture of a rocket, if you notice, and indeed it went up and up and up and up. Just before the pandemic, it kind of flattened, but after the pandemic, it kept going up. We don't know how large it will come, because now we have even competition. There are other similar programs. It's not the only one. Another green, another unique feature. The use of social media. Social media, enormous use. So every kid nowadays was born with social media. And all the students use social media, but they do it for social life, for love life. They don't do it for study. They do it for study. In Reddit, it used to be Google+. There is no Google+ anymore. Slack, Facebook, Twitter, they all use social media. These are some interesting cases of students, the husband and wife. This guy they're all old enough, so they finished already. This guy is a soldier in the Indian army that served in the Himalayas. But he served in the lower, but not the lowest base. But once a week he went to the lowest base, because that's the only place that he had internet to download stuff from the course. This is my favorite. This is a garbage truck driver in New York City. So he has a wife and kids, and his job is to drive the garbage truck, and he loves the toy. I think he still drives the garbage truck. He also has a computer job, but he's my favorite. Another group is a military, people in the military planning to become civilians. So look at the second guy from the left. You may recognize him here with a different costume. We give, for the community, we give them seminars every once or twice a semester, and he gives a seminar about transition from the military to civilian life. Okay, and we have many people in the military taking advantage of OMSCS. We did an alumni survey. 97% say it's worth the investment. 97 said recommend it to others. 81 said help their careers. 48 said it helped them secure higher salary. 36 join new workplace. 25 promoted. 6% they went teaching. So this also yields teachers. And 5% transition into tech sectors. They had a job completely unrelated to the tech sector. In short, they love us. You know, this is for 5 years ago, but the last 4 years is more or less the same. Didn't change. But the biggest sign that they love us is coming up. So hold on. Lesson learned. These are the biggest one. First of all, there is a large unmet demand. We didn't anticipate how large it is. Okay? And second, you can't learn from what you don't try. If you don't try, don't say it's impossible to do. Okay? Try. Another way to say it is never say never. I just said it twice. But what I mean by this is, people say, yeah, you can do it in computer science, but in business, you cannot do it. The second one was in business. And indeed, in some cases, are different and more difficult, and you have to try different ways. And if it didn't work, try a different route, and you may succeed to do it. So the secret is you can do it in many, many other circumstances. Students are highly engaged, officially interactive on social media, significant peer support. This is the most amazing part, without which we couldn't scale it. We couldn't get to these heights. On campus, we need a TA for every 30 students. Online, we need a TA for every 50 students. In short, in that semester, we needed 450 TAs. Now we have more than 500 TAs. Where will you get the TAs? Big question. So when people asked me a few years ago, what is the limit? How much you can grow? And I told him, I don't know. There might be a bottleneck. The bottleneck is the number of TAs. Where will you get the TAs? Surprise, surprise. OMSCS students and OMSCS alums TA. So from the 450, 100 is on-campus students, 150 OMSCS students, 191 is alumni. So 2/3 are from the students and alums. They love us. And they get peanuts. People on campus, when they are TAing, they get tuition. It's big. But for MSCS, the tuition is negligible. And the alumni, there is no tuition. They are paid by the hours. They do it because they want to give back. And the amazing part, there are alumni that do it year after year. So we have two TAs that already TA for the 8th year. When somebody, a master or PhD student TAs, they do it when they're here. They do it for a year or two. Or maybe 3 if they are PhDs, but usually they are supported as RAs. So you have them for a very limited time. Here, some of them, TAs again and again. Without them, they are like partners. Without them, we couldn't scale it. And they are partners. Some side benefits. We have a professor called Ashok Goel. He was teaching a course in knowledge-based AI. And he developed an artificial intelligence TA. It was based, Watson Lab had NLP, Natural Language Processing program that was called Watson that could answer questions, okay? And they used it to create a TA. They call her Jill Watson. Later on, we don't use the Watson technology, but her name is still Jill Watson, and now she TAs 20 courses, okay? So we have an AI TA. She cannot answer the hard questions. You know, the hard technical questions she cannot. But many of the questions are simple and they are repetitive, and it's a huge help. We also all the time develop online tools and also learn how to prevent plagiarism. So people ask me, so first I'll tell you a funny story. One of the ways to cheat is you have in certain countries, I won't mention names because I don't want to offend anybody, there are people that are contractor. You get a project, you send them a certain amount of money and they do the project for you, right? You get the project back in email. So one of our professors, Sal Stanner, he developed such a company, fake company, and offered this project. And when the students ask for the services, they get disciplined. They get caught. Now people wonder, how about cheating, you know? Online, they can cheat, they have the same exams. So first of all, I have a general answer about cheating. On one level, it doesn't matter. You know, if you cheat your way to a degree in computer science and you actually didn't learn much, you will not survive in a company, in a job. On the other hand, we don't get a bad name for our university that everybody can cheat there. You know, we don't want to have cheating. On campus, when they have exam in the classroom, there are people, there are proctors, somebody sits in the classroom. We have proctors also online. Company does it for us. Each proctor is responsible for 50 students. Each student put a camera on themselves so you can see what he does or what he doesn't do. And the student doesn't know if he's looking at them or look at somebody else. So there is proctoring also online. Is it easier to cheat online? Probably. But we make everything possible that you won't cheat. Uh-oh. Harvard did a research about us. Vast majority of students would not pursue advanced degree. All our students say, hey, without it, or something like ours, they couldn't do it. And it was they said the first rigorous evidence that we know of showing an online degree program can increase educational attainment. So more graduates, you know, adding an online didn't keep the number the same. They didn't move from here to here. We got extra number of graduates, and the market needs them, as you will see. And they said the OMSCS is the largest MSCS program in the United States. So I'll tell you two things about it. People say it, I haven't checked it, and I'm not sure it's true. It looks true. One is, it's really they say, it's the largest program, online or not online, in any subject in the world. 12,750 students. Second thing they say is, OMSCS has more students than more than half of the American universities. More than half of the American universities do not have 12,000 students. The comparison is a little unfair because a student in university takes 4 or 5 courses. In our case, it's 1.3. But in terms of warm bodies, OMSCS has more warm bodies than about half of the American universities. They also said that the program will increase MSCS production by 8%. They were wrong. It's more than 10. It's 11%. So if you go in the street and meet graduates in the Master of Science in Computer Science in the last year or two, 1 in 10 will be from our program. So this is a story that I wanted to stay for about how hot is computer science. So these are 2 studies, both of them in 2017, so it's 5.5 years ago. One was 71% of all the new STEM jobs are in computing. but only 8% of the graduates in American universities. The second one is how many unfilled jobs will be from the unfilled jobs that will be in 5 years. 75% in computing. Only 16 in engineering, all of engineering, you name it. And chemical, biological, everything. 4.5 times more in computing. That's the huge demand for computing. That's why in computer science you should feel great, but you should use your job and pass it. How did it impact on campus? So this is on campus. You see every year it grew. In 5 years, it grew by 125%. This means more than double. But if you look at the number of applications, it's tripled. It also has influence on a master undergraduate in the same years, more than 500%, 6 times. And these are the percentages. But if you go back to 2008, 1,200%. So I'm sure you see it here. There is an explosion in demand for computer science degree, which nobody can actually accommodate it on campus. So let's check. All courses top quality, check. Identical online and on-campus assessment, check. Enrollment, check. What about financial? Are we making money? Are we losing money? If we make money, how much we make? So producing a course is very expensive, $300,000. And actually, initially, we assumed that everybody will have to renew the course every 3 years. So we put on the budget a third of the course, another $100K, for renewing it. Every summer, we renew a third of the course. Turn out, faculty renew by themselves, and it's not a third, and they don't take money. They tweak it here and tweak it there. Everything good, no extra. And we also learn how to do it more efficiently. We do it for $150, but it's still very expensive. So question, we have the tuition and the fees, and we have the expenses. There's a net, A minus B, how much we make. Right now, it's $15 million every year. That's what Georgia Tech what makes, and there is a formula. We get 35% of it. The provost get 55, and the unit for distance learning gets 10. So, but we get 35, which is 35 million of percent of 15 million is like $5 million. So just the chair is still here. Just imagine you have $5 more million. Actually, our chair, Aldin, because it's a college of computing, always struggles to spend it. But that's the peanuts. Something I didn't know at all, because this I knew, and I extracted division of income. I didn't know about the big money. And the big money is the state of Georgia funds the university in the university system according to a formula, and the most important part is enrollment. If you have more enrollments, you get more money, and they compute. And then half goes to the university and half goes to the system, because if your enrollment goes down, you cannot always take money from them. The system needs to balance things, etc. So the system gets half. So guess a number, how much the university, Georgia Tech, gets extra this year, and it's a delay of 2 years. So every number is computed, but it's effective 2 years from now. So there's a very round number, how much Georgia Tech gets above what it got 10 years ago. Give me a number. $100 million. Georgia Tech gets $100 million that it didn't have in its budget just because of our program. They are following on our footsteps. The first one, the University of Illinois, UIUC. You know what's for UIUC? University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Very good university. there was a guy called Rajat Shamandi. He was associate dean. The 5 associate dean. He was associate dean. And he came to us and learned everything from us. And started 2 years later, MBA, like iPhone. Little I, MBA. And he had, as a result, a meteoric rise. 2 years later, he became dean of business in Northeastern. And 3 years later, he became president of Illinois Institute of Technology. So now it's so important, he doesn't answer my email. So IMBA, they continued with 2 more, data science and accounting, and we added also in analytics and in cybersecurity. But altogether, there are 70 programs by 30 universities that are MOOC-based. They are cheaper, but not as cheap as us. We are the cheapest. The only ones under 10,000 is, the 2 from Georgia Tech is 9,600, so it's almost 10,000. We are 6,000. And the only one is UT Austin, which is 10,000. The other ones are even 20,000, which are still cheaper than the normal price. These are the 3 biggest: OMSCS, Analytics, which is ours, and IMBA is the 3rd one. OMSCS has 29% of the students. One program has 29% of all the students in Georgia Tech. If we add the 2 new ones, it's 42. Time is running out. What's the time now? 1 hour? What? Yeah. I need 5-10 minutes. We move to undergraduates. And the basic course in Introduction to Computing using Python. We introduced it as undergraduate course. It's optional. You are a student on campus, but you can take it online. 50% choose to take it online. 2 reasons. The flexibility, okay? You don't have to go to classes that time or that time. Second, I cheated. I put the best teacher. Best teachers teaches it, and they love him. 94% say it's as good as the other courses they took in Georgia Tech, and 81% is it's better than all the courses they take in Georgia Tech. But I cheated. No, not everybody is as good as teachers. Some high schools, like charter schools, use it. Use our intro, because some courses, especially programming courses, are taught in high schools. In the MOOC version, by the way, all OMSCS courses are available in MOOCs, so you can go and watch them. You don't get a degree, you don't take exams, they're available. Also, the online, Python course, so far had 500,000 students. So it's kind of self-learning, but no exams, no grades, no credentials. We added 2 more courses online. Object-oriented programming with Java, and algorithms, the baby algorithms, not the graduate algorithm, the baby algorithm course that every major takes. This is my vision, that's my hope, that's my wishful thinking. Not sure it will happen. The guy that wrote the book that I mentioned, that I'll show you at the end in 5 minutes, say it will happen, but I'm not a prophet. There are no prophets in my family, so I never give prophecies, So the question is, can we use online in a good way? And we showed, Georgia Tech showed you can do it in a good way to reduce the cost of college. So introductory course, they can do in high school. So 2 or 3 initial courses they can do in high school by the high school students, or the year after high school, before they go to college, they have a job, and hopefully they will pay much less because it's online. So that's the first initial courses you can do online. The middle ones, students take internship and co-op. Sometimes they go for a semester, sometimes go for a year. Right now, they're 1 year away and don't take any course. They don't make progress. Here, they may be able to have 1 course a semester. They can make progress while they are outside on a job. In fact, many students don't finish in 4 years, if not in 5. Many finish in 6. So that will help them, these two and the third one. The third one, the advanced courses, as you probably know, advanced undergraduate courses are sometimes the same as a master course. Master students sit with seniors and take the same course. So the student, the undergraduate, they can go to have a job. They don't have the degree yet. They have 3 or 4 courses to take. They take it on a job. They take it online. So especially in the beginning and the end, not only they pay lower tuition, they have a salary. So in some sense, we can reduce the tuition by maybe up to a third, quarter at least. Okay, it doesn't solve the problem. It's still huge, but it's much better. It all adds up to a minimum savings. But you ask, why would the university do it? If they have online and it's reduced tuition, they will lose money. Where will they get money from? The answer is they can have more students. All these students that take it online are not on campus. They're at home or somewhere else. They can admit more students and fill the dorms. The dorms are the bottleneck. So the tuition from on campus are not changed. The online tuition is gravy. It's extra. Another problem to solve is the teachers. There is shortage of teachers, and again, using more online helps here. So our faculty were the heroes. They climbed the mountain. They volunteer. They decided to do it, and they do it. And I'm very proud of them. And again, I hit the wrong button. Recognition, I won't go because always I'm getting here late. OMSC has got 3 prizes. Okay, one of them for UPSEA University Professional and Continuing Education, first regional and then national. Then they got what is the Oscar in higher education, the gold medal that is called the Oscar. And then the first company put the program in put Georgia Tech, because of the program, is one of the most innovative companies in the world. Very few universities make this list because it's companies. It's usually not a university. So every once in a while they're in a university. There were hundreds of articles in the media. These are the best 3. One is a front page article in the New York Times after we announced it. The second one is a weekend interview in Wall Street Journal. And the third one was in Forbes, not the article I showed you in the beginning, another in Forbes that was viewed 36,000 times. Also internationally, that's in Italian and that's in Hebrew. An article about OMSCS. Actually, the title in the Hebrew, and I'll translate, is Universities are the institutions, the most conservative institution after the Catholic Church. They took my quote about universities and make it the title of the article. So it was, so just imagine, you get reports when UCLA appears in the media. Has anything in UCLA appeared 1,300 times in the media? I doubt it. And this is my favorite quote from the first article by, I'll read it immediately. The quote is by somebody called James Gates Jr. He is perhaps the best black scientist in the world. He's the first black that was accepted to National Academy of Science. He's the first black that won the Presidential Medal in Science, and he invited me to PICAS. PICAS is Presidential Council of Advisors in Science and Technology, Obama's council, and he invited me. Everything happened only after we announced, even before we started. And that's his quote for 2013, turned out to be right. Perhaps Galil and Sebastian Tran will prove to be the Wright brothers of MOOCs, said S. James Gates Jr., a University of Maryland physicist who serves on President Obama's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. That's from the New York Times. This is the first deliberate and thoughtful attempt to apply education technology to bringing instruction to scale. It could be epoch-making. It is really, if it really works, it could begin the process of lowering the cost of education and lowering barriers for millions of Americans. So when I met him after the quote, I told him, Jim, why Wright brothers? You know, we didn't deal with airplanes. Nothing is flying. He said, no. You're actually testing whether MOOCs can fly. And now they fly. And I told them, no. We're not the Wright brothers. We are the wrong brothers. So, and you see how you spell right and wrong. So that's what I told him. And I end with this book that I really suggest that you read. It came out 2 months ago. The guy also wrote an article in the Chronicle of Higher Education. The book, he says, Abundant University, Remaking Higher Education for a Digital World. And the article is the public is giving up on higher education. In the same sense that we said before, that 4 million less people are going to higher education now. And his main complaint is scarcity. Scarcity. You know, they cannot accept the students. They cannot have enough teachers. Everything is scarce. And that's why they're so selective. That's why they reject so many people. That's why they all say, oh, inclusion, we are inclusive. No, they reject most of them. They're the opposite. They're lying. And his idea is more online. That's what will solve the problem. And he actually believes, you know, and the faculty always rejected it. It's not as good. It's lower quality. He says, first of all, that we proved that it need not be of low quality. You know, during the pandemic, everybody moved to online. But what did they do? They just videotaped courses. You know, it's quite a low quality that was done. That's called cheating. And so we proved you can do it with lower quality. And he believes, he actually predicts that more and more online, maybe not in full, some hybrid. So some course can be online, but you come once or twice to the campus for a full day, for a week. All sorts of ways to do it in combined ways that you also come to campus a little bit. So this is it. This is our program. And I have been fortunate to be involved in it. And it's probably the best thing I've ever done. My research was not that bad. I was very glad. By the way, I came to UCLA after 43 years. I came here 43 years ago. I think nobody here was here. Len was. And actually some faculty remember my research. I have the best algorithm in string matching, or in MaxFlow, or in matching, or the first explicit construction of expander graphs, which are very important. So I had some pretty good results in theory and in algorithms, but they're all buried by this program because it impacted thousands of people. And I get love letters. I didn't even get such a love letter from my wife. Thank you. Yes, please. It's regular Georgia Tech faculty. All of them, because of the incentive structure, they volunteer and they do it. One or two from outside, but usually all of them are faculty. And the surprising thing, they keep doing it. Regular teaching, yeah. And it's, you see, the 10,000, the big investment is to make the course. It's a lot of work, redoing, and really has to be professional. That's what was not done during the pandemic. They just recorded somebody and did it in 10 hours or something. Here they do it a full semester. Okay, and 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 then students take it non-synchronously at the first time during the semesters. But sometimes the exam mark all the breaking points, so at least give some kind of a schedule, because there are exams or tests during the semester. Why they work for free? No, they get 10,000 each time. They get 10,000, not for a great effort, because most of the grading is by TAs. In office hours, mostly by TAs, but they can participate in some discussions in office hours once a week, but they don't teach. No, every time it's offered. Every semester. So I said they can get 3 times 10, 30K, because if they do it 3 semesters a year, plus as a creator of the course, they get 2.5K. So they can get up to 37.5. If it's only 2 semesters, it's 25K, which is a very decent amount. I made sure, I strongly believe in incentives. I don't believe in free work. Yes? Louder. No. You get a degree from Georgia Tech. No asterisk, nothing. It's master degree from Georgia Tech. Yes. Stream. I need to hear you. How many what? They only finish master degree, and they usually go to master degree because they're interested in professional life. But as I said, 50, but this number 50 is from 5 or 7 years ago. 50 of them continue PhD. And 3 or 4 of them already graduated. So usually this is a professional master, and they mostly want a career in computing, not an academic life. Yes? Not yet. That's a possibility. But Indians know English, Chinese less, but and the biggest ones abroad is India and China. So it's quite an effort to have translations, etc. And it's quite expensive. So far, we haven't considered it. Yes, please shoot. Yes. Yes. There is not such a thing as full time. A big majority take 1 course, and sometimes even take a break of a semester. They need something in the work, etc. 20% or so take 2 courses. 20, not 20%, take 3 courses. Very hard. Okay, that's roughly the distribution. Yep. Yes. 10 courses. There is, on campus, there is the project option and the thesis option. So they can do research, and it counts like 3 courses, or they can do a huge project. They have projects in the course, but that's a project, a big project. And that also counts as 3 courses. Usually not available in online because we cannot support large numbers. But without publishing it, in individual case, we let students do it. So some few of them do a thesis option or a project option. Yes? It's hard. We feel it's the same, but nobody measured it in a scientific way. We cover the same material, they do the same projects, they get the same exams, so all the criteria for them passing or getting a grade is the same. And it's the same, and usually the same professor teaches on campus and online. But, yeah, yes. So raise your voice. On campus and online, they need 10 courses. What? The same course offered. There are a few courses that are still not available online, but there are 60 of them that are available, which is a huge number. Check how many master courses available in UCLA. I'm not sure you have 60. Yeah. Thank you, guys.